Welcome back, friends. In today's episode of Heroes of Humanity, we delve into the extraordinary life of another true legend, Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was born on January 15, 1929, in Atlanta, Georgia, United States. He grew up in a loving and religious household, deeply influenced by his father, a Baptist minister. From an early age, Dr. King displayed exceptional intelligence and a gift for oratory. During his college years, Dr. King became deeply involved in the civil rights movement, inspired by the teachings of Mahatma Gandhi and his philosophy of nonviolent resistance. After earning his doctorate in theology from Boston University in 1955, he returned to the South and became actively involved in organizing peaceful protests against racial segregation and discrimination. One of Dr. King's most notable achievements came in 1955 when he led the Montgomery bus boycott in Alabama. The boycott was a response to the arrest of Rosa Parks, an African-American woman who refused to give up her seat to a white passenger on a segregated bus. The successful boycott lasted for over a year and ultimately led to a Supreme Court ruling that declared segregation on public buses unconstitutional. Dr. King's leadership and eloquence propelled him to become the spokesperson for the civil rights movement. He founded the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, SCLC, in 1957, an organization dedicated to achieving racial equality through nonviolent means. Through the SCLC, Dr. King organized and participated in numerous protests, marches, and demonstrations across the country, demanding an end to racial segregation and advocating for voting rights. One of Dr. King's most iconic moments came on August 28, 1963, when he delivered his famous "I Have a Dream" speech during the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. His stirring words and passionate vision for a future where individuals would be judged by the content of their character rather than the color of their skin resonated deeply with millions of people around the world. Dr. King's tireless activism and advocacy led to significant legislative victories, including the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. These landmark pieces of legislation aimed to dismantle institutionalized racism and ensure equal rights and opportunities for all Americans. One humid evening in August, as Dr. King prepared for a pivotal speech in front of thousands of supporters at the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., he couldn't shake off a strange feeling that something was amiss. Despite his natural ability to inspire and captivate crowds, a sense of unease lingered within him. As he stepped up to the podium, Dr. King's voice resonated powerfully through the microphone, electrifying the atmosphere. The crowd listened intently, their eyes fixed on the man who had become the voice of their hopes and dreams. But just as he delved into his speech, a peculiar silence fell over the gathering. From the corner of his eye, Dr. King noticed a man in the distance, lurking in the shadows near the reflecting pool. Dressed in a dark suit and a hat pulled low, the figure exuded an air of mystery. Dr. King's heart skipped a beat as a chill ran down his spine. He couldn't shake off the feeling that the man posed a threat. With each passing minute, Dr. King's anxiety grew. His words faltered, and he stumbled over his sentences. The crowd grew restless, sensing the tension in the air. Suddenly, as if on cue, the mysterious figure began to move, slowly making his way toward the stage. Panic spread through the crowd like wildfire. In that critical moment, an act of immense bravery emerged from the masses. A young African-American woman, inspired by Dr. King's message of courage and nonviolence, stepped forward from the crowd. Her name was Rosa, named after the civil rights icon Rosa Parks, who had sparked the Montgomery bus boycott years earlier. Rosa stood between Dr. King and the advancing figure, her eyes filled with determination. The man in the dark suit raised his hand, revealing a gun. The crowd gasped, frozen with fear. Rosa, undeterred, pleaded with the man to reconsider his actions, reminding him of the peaceful path that Dr. King advocated for. Torn between his own demons and Rosa's unwavering conviction, the man hesitated. Dr. King, sensing the opportunity, seized the moment. With all the courage he could muster, he stepped forward and extended his hand to the would-be assailant, pleading with him to put down the weapon and choose love over hate. The tension in the air was palpable, and time seemed to stand still. The man's hand trembled as he looked into Dr. King's eyes. In that profound exchange, a flicker of recognition flashed across his face, as if he recognized the inherent goodness that Dr. King represented. Suddenly, the man dropped the gun, tears streaming down his face. Overwhelmed by the weight of his actions, he fell to his knees, embracing Dr. King in a tight hug. The crowd erupted in applause, their fear replaced by relief and jubilation. It was a moment that would forever be etched in the annals of history. From that day forward, the man in the dark suit dedicated his life to advocating for equality and justice. His name was James, a troubled soul who had been consumed by anger and despair. Inspired by Dr. King's message, he underwent a transformative journey, becoming a beacon of hope for countless others. As for Dr. King, the encounter left an indelible mark on his spirit. It served as a reminder of the perils he faced in his pursuit of justice, but also the profound impact he had on individuals who were lost and in need of redemption. Tragically, Dr. King's life was cut short on April 4, 1968, when he was assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee. His death sent shockwaves throughout the nation and sparked riots in numerous cities. Dr. King's untimely passing left a void in the civil rights movement, but his legacy continued to inspire generations to come. Following his death, Dr. King's impact on society endured. His birthday, January 15, was established as a national holiday in the United States, known as Martin Luther King Jr. Day, honoring his contributions to the advancement of civil rights. His speeches, writings, and philosophy continue to be studied and celebrated worldwide, serving as a reminder of the ongoing struggle for equality and the power of peaceful resistance. Beyond his activism, Dr. King was also a devoted family man. He was married to Coretta Scott King, and they had 4 children together. His widow, Coretta Scott King, carried on his legacy, becoming a prominent civil rights activist in her own right. Dr. King's impact extended far beyond the civil rights movement. His teachings on nonviolence, justice, and equality continue to resonate with individuals fighting for human rights, social justice, and peace across the globe. His life serves as a timeless example of the power of one person to effect positive change and the enduring spirit of hope in the face of adversity. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.